Some other things, other ways that you could use Creative Commons images and videos and documents in interesting ways are green screen applications. And I brought a mini green screen and my iPad. If we wanted to explore that, we can. But we can do that after we're done with the overall presentation. Lots and lots of ways. Are there other ways that you can think of right now that you could use Creative Commons licensed materials or your own materials and then do Creative Commons license on those materials? How would you use it?
Well, right, this whole talk, I'm working on my independent study, like my graduation option, and I'm making like a resource manual for how to work with kids with hearing loss. And right now, like, I can make an infographic on hearing aids, which is hopefully your implant.
Absolutely. You can even check if somebody has one out there, and if they do, see if it's already Creative Commons licensed, and then add to it the things that the newest information or information that you think also needs to be there. Your whole guide, your whole document, you want other people to use that, right? But for you to make sure that you get attribution for that, you could do a Creative Commons license on your whole guide.
Would be awesome. Which is why I've had more specific questions like, well, how do I not plagiarize on accident?
Yes, yeah, by giving attribution, and then if it's Creative Commons license, then the attribution you can go through and use those tools that I was showing you with the pictures of the images really quickly, so you see what the intent of the author was, and then you put that on there. But you must remember, anytime you use Creative Commons license in your own works, that you have to watch that. Share alike means that you also have to share yours in the same spirit that they did. So there are some things. How about you? Where would you see yourself using Creative Commons, if you would? Whether it's getting licenses for your own, which you already have, or using someone else's licensed material.
Putting together professional development materials. Making sure that I'm taking things that are okay to be taken.
Yes, and then licensing your own even, so that you can share it in the spirit of making the world better.
I have to create a current issues project that we have to look at the school and pick an issue and try to help in a professional that we don't get stomped all over our student teachers kind of way. And in that, our project is to help with PBIS, which is a behavior
Positive behavior, something system. It's positive behavior modification.
Correct. So we use what we call cool tools, which I'm saying we use meaning we have available. And so for my issues project, I want to then implement those cool tools. And so I think it'd be cool to use this by not only using the resources we've already been given, but then also trying to modify those for different age groups and different, because they send them out to all middle school, but one class may be different than another. And so I think that would be interesting to use that as a modification and see what I can make and send out that way.
Very cool. Very cool. Imagine as you give students the same power that you now have and the understanding that you now have about how responsible they will be, and also how much ownership they will take in the things that they create. Those things that you were just talking about, did you feel like you have good ownership in those, enough ownership to say that I made this and I want other people to know that I made this, or I'm going to make it, I want other people to know. Your students will be the same way. We have standards that require our students to publish works. That's in the ELA standards. And cite things correctly, both. So publishing works and citing them correctly. So using Creative Commons also empowers our students when they're publishing to understand that they have rights over those materials, that they can share those materials as well.
I think even this discussion, it's heightened my awareness of, the different kinds of licensing and copyrights and Creative Commons. And I was just like, it's Google Images, I'll just cite that.
Right. Just put that piece in there, and then not think about that. And our world is changing, and information is coming out that says students are motivated less by money and more by making the world better, which is fantastic. So if we can use tools like this to heighten the awareness and help them to get excited about making the world better and sharing their information, knowing that they can make the world better by sharing their information, knowing that they don't have to start from scratch, because that's not what it's about. It's about taking other information and building on it and building their understanding from it. It's pretty exciting. So there's more information on that URL, tinyurl.com/T21. And then at the end of this slide as well, there's Common Sense Media is one of my favorites. It's a fantastic website for teachers for upping awareness for digital citizenship in general, understanding how to use technologies in the classroom. They have lesson plans, and all of their material is licensed through Creative Commons.
And for parents who are trying to choose movies.
Yes, there is also there's an educator website, a parent website, or educator piece of the website, a parent piece of the website, and student pieces of the website as well, with things geared for each of those. But all of their lesson plans are licensed through Creative Commons. The Teaching Copyright website, teachingcopyright.org, which you all got the chance to be able to experience a bit when you were looking at the copyright information, and that large variety of resources that I have on the website prepared for you. And then there's also a webinar coming up. It's hosted by EdWeb. That's a free website, or free webinar on teaching copyright and fair use to the remix generation. So probably a little more polished and professional than this, but probably not the opportunity for hands-on that you'll get again here in a few minutes too. So any other questions on using Creative Commons? Yes.
Can you help me clarify in my mind the difference between using a copyrighted image that is properly cited and using a Creative Commons image that's cited?
Absolutely. So copyrighted, first and foremost, if it's copyrighted, you can't use it for any monetary gain without permission.
Right.
So that's what's nice about Creative Commons in that idea of
But
if you
there
wanted to
is
make
a
money.
Creative Commons option.
Yes, to say you cannot profit from it. But there are ones but if it does not have that, then you can use it. So that's first and foremost one of the largest differences. Let me go back to.
Isn't the primary difference between the two is that a copywritten item, you need to be in communication with the person who created that work
Yes.
every single time.
Okay.
Well, from the other side, the person who created that work needs to give permission every time someone wants to use it. If they've given a Creative Commons license,
They're giving permission.
they're
to
simply
start.
saying to the world, go ahead and use it under these circumstances.
Right.
So for years, when we've been doing PowerPoints and just copy and pasting off of Google, it's illegal. I mean, it's unethical, what I should say.
Yes, I would say
It was
definitely unethical,
cited,
and
but still.
depending on how you're using it, yes, it could be illegal. If you're using it to create something that you end up selling, which our world now too, with websites like Teachers Pay Teachers, where you can create websites or where you can create teacher creative materials and sell that to other teachers. If they have any copyrighted materials within those lesson plans that they haven't gotten permission for, then they are breaking the law.
But if you're using it just for a project and you're not going to sell that on Teachers Pay Teachers,
then that's
Okay.
fine. That's better.
Okay.
You should still give attribution.
right?
But because those copyright laws that give that room that you guys were talking about, that room, the fair use room, to be able to use for educational purposes, then that helps out too. But Wes really did a nice job of summarizing that. With Creative Commons licenses, they give you a license to use it from the start.
So you
With
don't
copyright,
need-
you'd have to get permission if you wanted to use it outside of the fair use realm.
Okay.
All right. And these copyrights too, the licenses here. There are some that have that the ability to profit, not the no charge one there. You've got to be careful with that.
So how does the most restrictive Creative Commons, you have to like say who it was from, you can't change it, and you can't profit from it. How is that different from a copyright? I think-
You don't have to ask permission.
Okay.
It's given. It's given right from the start. So that's the difference. Is you don't have to say, oh, okay, can I use this? Good. Yes, you can use it. Period.
Right.
Do it. Use it.
Okay.
Make the world better with it. Don't change it.
Right.
Don't profit from it. So that's, now you could, if you thought that there was something that was so fantastic, like if I was going to write a book, I would want to include this Creative Commons infographic. And I'd probably have to sell that book, or I'm gonna go broke because I'm on a teacher's salary and I can't pay to create a book to just hand out. So I would have to contact these folks and say, I know this is under Creative Commons. Here's what I'm doing and here's what I'd like to do with your tool. Can I use that? And then work from there.
So, but you'd only need to contact them if they had the $sign.
But with the slash through it, yes.
Okay.
If they have the $sign with the slash through it, because then that says it's non-commercial. I can't charge money.
But anything above that, you could
Right, I
drop
can use
it in
it.
and sell it and
Yep.
make your million.
Absolutely, as long as I give them attribution, make my
Right.
million. That's right. As long as I give them attribution there.
Okay.
So, Bruce, one thing that we did is we went around the room really quick and said, where could we use Creative Commons? Like after hearing this information and talking through it, is there anywhere that you would think that you would use something that was Creative Commons licensed, or something that you created that you would want to get a Creative Commons license for?
The second question first, I really don't care who uses my stuff for whatever. I have enough trouble getting some of the students to look at it who should be looking at it, let
Absolutely.
alone the other stuff. And Creative Commons, when I would actually use Creative Commons, I would probably give that equal share with the copyrighted material I use under fair use. To me, since I'm just producing the material for educational purposes and I'm not making any money off of it, I don't see that I would prefer one source over the other.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only difference then is just the way that you put it on there. You don't have to put copyright, instead you put Creative Commons.
Exactly.
So an extra C. And then the information
That's
goes
easy.
back. Absolutely. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. Other questions before we wrap up? Other thoughts? Okay. If you want to stick around, I've got the green screen piece up and we can talk about how to use Creative Commons licensed materials with green screen. You got the chance to see infographics and a tool that you could use to create infographics and bring in Creative Commons licensed materials or give your own Creative Commons license on that. So those are some of the tools as well. So thank you all very much for being here.